Alright, with the Columbia build finished, it's time to move on to the next build. This one's not going to be a contest entry, mostly so I can take my time with it, since there's only 2 weeks left in the contest. What I'm going to work on is the Revell B2 Stealth Bomber Kit, or at least that's what I'm going to start with. This is the 1/144th scale version. And what I'm going to be doing with it is building what actually inspired me to create the Quinjet versions found on the Columbia. I'm going to take the main body of the B2 minus the wingtips and then put in the vertical stabilizers. On the bottom I'll add the vertical lift stuff that the Quinjet would have. I'll also close off the bomb bay so that when I'm finished I'll have a much better looking Quinjet than the one sitting down there next to CW. Stay with me. And we are, I want to say back at it, but at it, since the first update was just basically showing the kit. At this point, I've got the cockpit glass glued into place, the upper fuselage, upper body I guess I should say. I've given the cockpit a coat of Vallejo gray primer, followed by a black wash. And in the clamps, I have 3 thicknesses of sheet styrene to become my rudders. Stay with me. Alright, been kind of a productive day here on the Quinjet conversion. As you can see, you've got the nose wheel in place underneath the cockpit. You can't really see much inside the cockpit, so I'm not too worried about the fact I don't have a crew in there. Got the engines in place. I have beveled the edges of my rudder blanks, so I still need to cut panels for the rudders themselves into play in there. As far as the bottom of the ship goes, that's where most of the modification work's been done. I have cut vertical lift vents into the bottom of the hull and filled them with plastic screening. I've got the main gear doors in place, but I'm not going to put the main landing gear in until after I get the 2 halves put together, just to avoid snapping the struts off. The only reason I've got the nose gear in place is it's actually designed to fit through the opening there. I have closed off the missile bay. I was pleasantly surprised at how well the doors fit. At this point, I've basically got to put the top, the bottom half on the top, get these done, and get the main gear in place. Stay with me. Alright, we are working on what's become a fairly quick build. Of course, it wasn't that difficult a kit to begin with. At this point, I have, as you can see, put on the new rudders. I have scribed the rudder flaps into the new surfaces. The body has been glued together. I've also patched with some styrene the ends of the wingtips, and the landing gear is all in place. At this point, she doesn't even need counterweights. course, part of that's because she doesn't have the wings on the end. Next stage for this one is going to be masking the windows and primer. Stay with me. Alright, slowly but slowly, the new Quinjet is getting done. Got our markings printed up. Yes, they are deliberately printed backwards, but that's mostly to deal with my invariable problem with my clear decals wanting to curl. The Quinjet herself has the primer coat of gray on the bottom, now complete. I still need to go in and paint the tires, but that's about it as far as the bottom goes. I'll also put a black wash on the VLS vents. The top, having run out of Tester's graphite dust, was primered with the Vallejo dark gray surface primer, and then was painted with the closest thing I've got to the graphite dust, the Vallejo gunmetal gray. Canopy is masked off. At this point, it's about time for me to move to decaling. Okay, at this point, going to call the Quinjet build done. I have gotten the decals on her. Combination of the kit decals as well as my custom Mk2 decals. Ironically, the only real problem I had with the decals on this one, and it shows up a little here, is with the kit supplied decals. I just could not get them to settle down and stay put. You know, when I finally did, they crinkled up on me a little. But it's not bad enough to scrap this one or anything. I'm still much happier with that as a 1/144th Quinjet than I was with that monstrosity that I built out of the 1/72nd YF-23. This one also has the benefit of looking much better when put side by side with Change Wind 1. All in all, like I said, I'm actually kind of happy with the way this turned out. It's really funny because the design for it wasn't planned. I literally pulled the main body pieces for the B2 out of the kit box and said, wait a minute. And then without the wings, it worked. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. I will put some stills, assuming I can avoid sneezing in the next little bit. I will put some stills at the end of this. And I want to thank you all for watching.